So here are some data presentation principles, the top 10, as it were. So starting with number 1, always assess the variation in your system before you look at assurance. You need to know whether the system is stable and predictable before you look at the targets. And number 2, not surprisingly, is that the control chart should dominate the board data papers. That's because the control chart is the single best way of determining whether your system has common or special cause. Now, there are some other charts which are very useful. You might see a line chart, and that's very good for seeing overall structural trends. A Pareto chart, which is great for priority, or a distribution, which gives you a snapshot in time of the system. Now, you may need more than one chart to give you a complete whole system view, and that's where the 4 key charts come in. Always try and capture balancing measures, and this is to avoid sub-optimization, where you look as if you're making an improvement in one part of the system, but there's a deleterious effect elsewhere. Use raw data, raw numbers wherever possible, because there are many pitfalls in using ratios and particularly percentages. Why not just count the number of patients that are waiting rather than the percentage that are seen within a particular time? So metrics, when you plot them on a data chart, better to use fixed units of time, such as hours, days, weeks, and not months. I know that months are the most common unit in a board data paper, but they don't always have the same number of days, between 28 and 31. So you're introducing some artificial variation into your system that really isn't there. If you used a week as a measure, that would disappear completely. Charts should pass the 1-minute test. So in other words, if you showed a member of the public the chart, they should be able to explain it to you within a minute. If they can't, the chart is too complicated and you should go back and actually simplify it. The narrative written in the board papers should reflect the data and not be a wish list of what people would like to happen and hope will happen, but they should reflect reality. And then finally, all data has context. So there are many other sources of intelligence that you need to consider to get a complete whole system view for how things are going.